Hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Drop Room. I'm your host, Darth Mike, joined by my co host, Balti Baby. And a special message goes out to Joe, Tolkien fanatic Cardali, who joined us last week on Darth Talks. In light of the recent holiday of Father's Day, your son, Balti Baby, misses you and wants you to know it's all for you.
Yes, my small hiatus that I've gone on Dust 2. I will be coming back, Dad. I'm coming back. My very own father, Joe Cardali.
Dads. I always find like esports creates some weird, strange, genetically really messy families.
Yeah, you see it a lot with like streaming, like people
Mhm.
streaming, and they're like, you get like gaming houses and stuff like that, and there's some weird kind of happenings.
Like I know, Addy. Addy has
Yes.
like 27 different parents. It's a really messed up. You know,
Well, he's a young boy.
he's a young
You,
boy. He's got a
you,
lot of role models there.
yeah, you look at him, he does not look that young. And then he's like, "Yeah, I'm 18." I was like, "You're younger than me." Okay. You're
He's
younger
19.
than me, but you got twice the muscles. I ain't got nothing here, but that kid's jacked.
We're here. We're gonna go into competition against Swole. We're the Scrawn Squad.
Do we have
do
to
have
get
to,
do it do we
yeah.
have to get scrawny as well?
If we can hire Scrawny, production value is going up.
Exactly.
If
The
you're,
squad, we need scrawny. He's the
we do need
mascot.
Scrawny.
He's the
We have
leader.
to we have to lure him back from all those prestigious international events he's doing and bring
Yeah,
him back
he's
down
he's
to our
way too
level.
famous for us now.
He's made it big.
Yeah.
Speaking of making it big, this is actually a great segue into our first topic.
Yes.
The big event of this past weekend was the closed minor qualifier. So we had 16
Yes.
teams come into the tournament, and 6 emerged, headed towards the North American closed minor.
Yes, 6 Americans, and then we had the 2 Brazilians from down below, our basement dwellers of the earth, the Brazilians. Does that sound bad? I didn't mean
That
it to be
sounded
bad.
bad.
I'm
Let's
sorry.
clarify.
I'm
That
sorry,
was just
all
a
of
poor
Brazil.
choice of words.
I'm sorry, Brazil. I meant only good things from that.
He meant hemispherically.
Yes, exactly.
No
Exactly.
commentary on
We're
Brazil.
we're talking about geography here.
Speaking of Brazil, there were 2 Brazilian teams in this, Team One and Luminosity. They were
Yes.
both right on the precipice of making it. Unfortunately, neither one will make it. We only have the 2 Brazilian squads from the South American closed qualifier, which is NTC and Furia.
Which isn't so bad. Like I think Luminosity getting out of it is actually preferable in my opinion. I don't think they're that crazy of a team. Unfortunately, Team One didn't get to make it. Obviously, we know the kind of prestige that those guys have right now after the whole WESG thing. So they're doing okay, especially now that they're in advanced. They're doing okay in that division as well. So they have a little bit of street cred. But I think it's nice to see NTC, the lovable rejects that kind of like aren't on like an org anymore, so they're just like with FNX's org now.
Well,
It's FNX, Bit, Phelps, King, Cello, kind of like they're combining all of the really good individual players and just throwing them all together.
do you think by the time the minor rolls around, they still won't be on an org? Or do you believe the
Uh,
rumors?
there are
Believe the
rumors
hype?
apparently. Is there?
Do you not
Who's
know the
gonna?
rumors?
I do not know the rumors. What are the rumors?
The rumors is that that's the new SK squad.
Oh, true, because Immortals and MIBR. That, yeah, I can see it.
That's the rumor. They've been boot camping in SK offices. SK's been supporting them and giving them boot camp space in Europe.
So that sounds pretty legit.
Yeah.
I don't think SK is just gonna be like, yo, use our stuff. We don't want you like under our org or anything, but just feel free to use a computer or two.
I know that was the plan at one point. I was a little concerned that the pickup of KNG might torpedo that plan, but KNG's back.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, that does sound pretty legit. So I guess they probably will. And if they're not, whatever, you know.
It'll be interesting. Another domino to fall in the shuffle of orgs and teams. But
Yes.
back to our minor teams. I sort of
Yes.
I got us off track there a little
We
bit.
We trailed.
Qualifying teams. United, first time in a minor. Really
Yep.
exciting. 4 of their players first time in a minor.
Yes.
I think Relics has played before. Complexity, a team that is definitely on the up and up since the addition of Stan and Shazam.
Yep. For sure.
Dignitas,
Yep.
who are making their way back up after a backslide under
Yeah.
the tutelage of Dirty Peak Pete. You've got NRG, a team that is very exciting.
Like at the top of NA right now and doing
Yeah.
okay in terms of like internationals.
The what was it, Star Ladder, where they made the finals?
I'm pretty sure. Can check that real quick.
It was pretty exciting. All right, let's see.
Yeah, it was them against Navi in the finals.
Yeah, NRG's okay. There's a player named NRG, who's HLTV listed, who has a flag I don't recognize. All right, NRG.
Yes, they were
Finals against
against Navi, against Simple.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Yes, and then you've got Rogue, who's kind of always been kind of like under the radar with Hiko leading the way, and apparently today in the ESL One New York, Cadian just kind of had this weird pop off. He was 25-4 with all the rest of his teammates all under 10 kills. So like, yeah, he was doing some work. So hopefully he can kind of translate that over to the America minor as well. And then we always have the Scrawn squad's rival, the Swole
World
Patrol.
Nemesis.
Yeah,
Swole Patrol.
our nemesis. With their addition of good old Canadian boy Lil Man. And then the last team that we have yet to mention, Furia Esports, or Furia, however you pronounce it. I'm not familiar with pronunciation of their team name, but that is everything for the Americas minor right now.
Some really exciting things here. Some names that I'm very excited to see back in or in the minor and on the up and up. One on Rogue, MCE, coach in Rogue.
Yes, I'm not surprised that he's already been picked up after his departure from Dignitas. His knowledge is just too useful that no NA team can just avoid taking advantage of him.
I'm glad he's sticking around the pro scene though. I'm glad he didn't get knocked back down to like MDL coaching or MDL playing.
Yeah,
he's a smart guy, and it's cool to see him because again, Rogue, like you were saying, they were sort of a team that was sort of knocking around sort of the lower echelons of Pro League and those kind of tournaments and never really having much of an impact. And they're starting to really put things together a little bit, and they seem like they're on the right trajectory.
For sure,
exciting.
And then United, you mentioned them before, four newbies. I've been following these boys for a long time now. When I started up my my premiere podcast back in the day, in my old solo podcasting days, they were known as Eclipse Lunar, and there was also an Eclipse Solar, but the Solar was nowhere near the caliber of the Lunar team, and they were just lighting it up. And it doesn't surprise me that they're here in the minor now. It does surprise me that they are a rookie of the minor though, but I think that's just because of the new kind of format to it, and that like now it's kind of I guess easier to get into it. You just got to go through open qualifiers and then go through the close, and then you're there, because of the new challenger way that they're doing the new challengers and stuff like that. But I've been watching these boys for a while, and they definitely deserve where they've gotten to. Especially Dapper, he's kind of like a journeyman, been through many rosters, and now he's finally on this one. And then recently he tweeted out he's doing a whole bunch of stuff. He's going to Disneyland with these boys. You know, he's having a good life. They're living the good life now.
Speaking of families, yeah, they seem like they found their home in a big way. I mean, you say journeyman, Dapper's 19. So he's a real young journeyman.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, when you're playing in the MDL and you're like 16 before they made their age restrictions back when he was, you know, a young lad, a wee lad, and he was playing at a top level. So, I mean, he's a journeyman, but a very young one at that. But then you got the core. You got Ace, Dazzle, and Moose. The core Eclipse Lunar boys. They've gone through a few roster changes. They're finally here. And I got to give a shout out to I'll always shout out the good Canadian kids in Moose. The kid is playing on a very high level.
Yeah, he is absolutely insane. He's one player who, if he's in a server, you can never count around over. And that's true for a lot of that squad in terms of the way they can pop off. It feels like this iteration of the team and the support that they're getting from the Org United has really let a lot of these very talented players settle in and shine through. And speaking of support, you can't discount Oso.
Yeah, for sure.
Big piece of that team. But that team has been really exciting. I mean, we were talking before we went live that this seems to be the year of E United.
Yeah, in terms of like popularity at like the tier 2 level, because we've yet to actually see them like have success internationally, like specifically at like MDL challenges and stuff like that. So maybe if they make it through here, what? Oh, counterpoint.
On LAN, we haven't seen them have success yet.
Yes.
ECS, they made a dent. I mean, they were 6th in ECS at the end of the season, and they were just out of playoffs because they had to give up some matches because of MDL. But they took maps off SK, they took maps off Cloud9, they did some damage. So
they've done a little bit of
translate.
damage, but here's the thing: onliners are I don't want to say irrelevant, because these guys are not irrelevant. They're very much here to stay in terms of the NA scene. But online results don't mean nothing until you prove it on LAN. We saw it with NRG. At one time, their online stats were stupid. Like, these guys were absolutely dominating. And then we finally saw them on LAN. It was like one event, iffy, and then they go to the finals against Na'Vi. And then they make third at the next event. Like, there is an actual sort of progression with NRG that is good to see. And with United, it's like, okay, online results, cool. Do it on LAN, do it internationally when it's all on the line, and it actually like kind of matters the most.
It's good to see them continue to get LAN experience, because I remember I talked to Dapper, and this was MDL was like his first international event. Period. The global LAN, because the previous one had been in New York, which was an international LAN, but it was in his backyard. So that was his first like traveling for a LAN. And so the more and more that this squad does that and does that together and gets used to it and gets used to the format and gets used to all of that, the better I think we'll see them play. And that's very
true. Very true. So I'll give you that. Hey, I love them too. I'm just trying to play a little bit of devil's advocate. I gotta kind of
expectations.
I gotta bring you back down to earth here, where you're thinking sky's the limit. You gotta keep it capped. Yeah.
I'm getting a little lofty here.
I respect it.
I can't help it when a team's like. One thing that's really exciting is when a team is sort of right on the up, when they're hitting like they're shooting up and they're upsetting the status quo. You know, sometimes it feels like the top tier of Counter-Strike, especially in North America, is so stagnant. You know, you've had Cloud9 and Liquid for 3 years now. You used to have CLG, and then CLG just kind of crumbled into nothing. Now you have NRG, which is exciting. That's injecting sort of a new face, where you've had NRG rattling around a little bit. They've hit a heater that they had nothing before. But you have a couple orgs coming back up. Complexity, the old esteemed org. Now you've got a new iteration. They're coming back up. You've got Rogue making some waves. Ghost is going to be interesting now that they're the Torqued roster. That's speaking of which, interesting note. I was in a match between Ghost or I was watching. I was not in it. God, for both teams.
I was gonna say, wow, you got really good.
I subbed in.
Yeah.
Put me in, coach. No, so I was watching the chat for a Swole Patrol Ghost match last night. And I think the number of times someone said, "Why isn't Steel playing?" Could have powered a small nation. Turns out, if you're banned from majors, you can't play in minors or minor qualifiers.
Yeah, using a little bit of your thinking brain there.
Yeah, funny how that works out.
Yeah,
funny how that happens. That is a bummer for Ghost, though. Of course.
Yeah, obviously, you lose your esteemed brain in Steel, so you just got to kind of run in like with your like a chicken with its head cut off.
Yeah, you got James IRL, who's like your second chicken head, but you got to have those both heads. It's like the ogre chicken. Did you ever play like one of the Warcraft games? You ever play one of the Warcraft games?
And there's ogre chickens?
No, there's ogres though, but they all have 2 heads.
Oh, okay. No.
And they like argue with each other. Classic. You never played a Warcraft game?
Like not World of Warcraft, but just Warcraft?
Well, I mean, World of Warcraft, you have ogres too, I assume. I was on the Warcraft RTS grind.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Little before my time. How old are you again?
I'm 24. How old are you?
19.
Yeah, I guess that's 5 years. That is
enough
to like.
Yeah, I think you're
some material.
Yeah. Little over my head on that one.
It's It's a great game. You should go back and play it. I'm not even kidding. It
They're
holds
so
up.
old.
It holds
so
up.
old.
All right. I'm getting really distracted here. Other really exciting team to make it, and this is also where we can hint of controversy in this qualifier. Swole Patrol. Swole Patrol.
Yeah.
They didn't make Pro League, but they're making their way to the minor.
Yeah, so baby steps. First,
you
gotta
seem unenthused.
I mean, I like Swole Patrol. I really thought that like the controversy you were going to talk about was like how the whole like round differential thing.
I was going to. That's
okay. That's what you're leading into.
That's
I'm unenthused just because like I'm just waiting for this team to get really good really fast. They're kind of like my E United a little bit. Like E United for you is kind of like Swole Patrol for me a little bit. I'm a big Zelsis fan. I like the Abadir brothers. I like Silent. I think he's a solid opper. The addition of Lil Man was like whatever to me. So I'm just kind of waiting for them to just like rise up and just kind of like shoot past what they're capable of right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm like unenthused, but like
yeah.
Like,
I can feel it.
Dumb.
We're like sometimes they look like they're insane, and other times it's like, man.
Exactly.
I get it. There's some consistency and there's some solidification of the team that needs to happen, but something like the minor can only be good for them.
I agree. It's a good experience in terms of like this is probably like one of like the top tournaments that they'll participate in, besides like WESG when they travel to freaking China. So like that's probably a big one for them.
So they didn't take a single map.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a disappointment.
Yeah, that's okay. We don't talk. Let's skip over that. Let's skip over that.
All right.
But yeah, this is probably like the upper echelon. Yeah, sorry guys. We're not here to crap on you. We love you. I love you. I don't know about Darth.
No, I'm in on it too. No, you're absolutely right. I would be surprised. I would be super pleasantly surprised, but I would be surprised to see Swole make it out of the minor.
Like WESG, it's kind of like, are you gonna take a map out of this?
I can see them taking a map. I mean, some of these teams.
Okay, how about how about a win, like a series win?
Depends on who they get stacked up against. It entirely depends on the way the bracket shakes out. If seeding is right, probably not. I'm gonna be honest with you. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah. It'll be interesting. It's a big test. It is a very big test.
I'd like to see them against Furia Esports, the second Brazilian team. Considering that like this iteration of a new Brazil lineup now in the Americas minor is like what, the fourth best Brazilian lineup that there is, considering they dominated Brazil now. They dominated Brazil when every other good team left. So Team 1 is gone. Luminosity left. NTC gone. SK/MIBR gone. So actually, they're really the fifth best. So they kind of.
Do you put them below Team 1?
I would put them below Team 1. I think it's the fact of the matter is they got into this because of the fact that there was a South American Open qualifier and the fact that Team 1 had to compete against all the NA teams. So it came down to round differential. So it's not even like Team 1 was that far behind Swole Patrol. It was just kind of unfortunate in the way that things went down in the Swiss format. So I would put Furia probably fifth best behind Team 1.
Okay. So all right. Banking off of that, we can kind of dive into what we sort of hinted at, which is that controversy. There were some players, there were some I'm going to call them org owners, people from Boxer, which I guess is an org temporarily.
It's Launder's org, I'm pretty sure, and he's just kind of like always had it. It's been around for years.
Well, yeah, no, it is an org. But I mean, in terms of its involvement in Counter-Strike, they're kind of just helping out in the short term. So I'm never quite sure whether to refer to them as like the full org. They are their org for now, I guess.
Yes.
The sponsors. So there were some people tweeting out, and it's like, oh, I can't wait to get the 3 maps and lose because of tiebreak and that whole thing. And some people were kind of salty about it and just what format it was. And I would tend to agree that it's kind of a dumb format to set up your tournament to essentially qualify 8 teams and then make the bottom 3 fight it out based on tiebreaker instead of playing decider matches. But at the same time, like you were making the point earlier that the round differential or the map differential or whatever it was insanely in favor of Swole.
Yeah, it's not even close. It's Swole Patrol plus 53, Luminosity plus 4, and then Team 1 even. And then Boxer wasn't even a 3-2 team, so I mean they can just shut up.
Well, I think they tweeted that before they lost that last one. Yeah. I don't think they're trying to make a claim for it now.
Yeah, the thing is their last match was against Team 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean they would have had to win every map basically 16-0 to outperform the plus 53 from Swole. So I mean, I get it, but I mean, that's just how it goes, I guess.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. The face it, and Valve choose how to do whatever they want to do. So sucks to suck.
Can you still see me? My computer just decided to go to sleep in the middle of this, which is a new one.
I see you. I see your beautiful face.
Good.
You're very still here.
We're good. I'm back. I'm glad I didn't leave. All right. So that's the minor.
Yes.
Again, congratulations to the qualifying teams. Round of applause. Golf clap.
Yes.
Golf clap, Balti.
Yeah.
Golf clap.
Good job. All right. So there's 2 spots. Let me ask. Who do you think is getting out of this? Yeah. Let's see some predictions. We talked about it. We've discussed it thus far. Who do you think?
We got to see everyone who's in it, right? Because it's 16 teams, right?
It's just 8 teams. So it is Complexity, NRG, Dignitas, E-United, Rogue, Swole Patrol, Neo, Temcomo, and Furia Esports.
For some reason, I thought it was like 8 from the last minor cycle as well, but I'm wrong on that one. Who's making it out? My heart says E-United. And, and then the last one, I would be amazed if NRG does.
Yeah, I think for both of us, that's just such a mainstay. It's just like guaranteed NRG's probably making it out.
It would be a huge disappointment for them if they don't. I
would be flabbergasted. I'll go as far as to say that I'm flabbergasted if they don't.
I think that the most likely second team is either NTC or Complexity.
Unlikely to make it or likely?
Likely to make it.
Okay. Understandable.
My thing with NTC is, and I don't know whether this has changed because I haven't watched an NTC match in a while. The various times that I managed to catch their play or seen their results, it's been fine. And you see the elements of the players that are insane. Like you see, Phelps is insane. FNX is insane when he's on. K&G is a dirty player. And I mean, even the whole team, like they have these moments. But I've never been consistently impressed by their play when I've managed to watch them. And now, admittedly, that's a really small sample size because I just haven't watched that much Brazilian Counter-Strike lately or the weird European tournaments they've been playing.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they do on the main stage. But that's a team that has to prove it to me. They've got the ingredients that should be a really good team, but I'm not ready to like say that they're going to be one of the top 2.
Okay. So then you mentioned Complexity as well. They just brought in Stanislaw and they brought in Shazam. 2 very good additions. You brought in a very astute IGL and then a very decent opper in Shazam. And they very clearly, specifically Shazam, has very much turned up thus far, as well as Ye being that mainstay fragging powerhouse that he is.
Yeah.
So they are likely to make it out as well?
I put them at probably my most likely second team.
Okay.
A team that I think could be a dark horse if they hit it. Well, I'm not even sure if I'm ready to do that for them yet. But a dark horse if they really hit their form would be Dignitas, who we haven't really talked about yet.
See, I figured you would say that, and
you disagree.
I'm gonna 100% disagree.
I don't think they're making it at all.
I don't think they're gonna make it at all. I think 3rd place, which isn't a spot to get into the challenger status, I think that is their cap. And even then, I feel like I'm being generous. I don't see this mix of players performing that well. I like Grim and I like Rix out of all of this this
Oh, I love
entire.
Infinite. You don't
Uh,
love the boy Infinite?
See, I'm not that big on his play. I know he has glimpse of like, whoa, this kid's really good, but I don't know if we're gonna see that at this particular LAN. Seeing
That's
it
fair.
as it is a LAN event, I don't know if I see Dignitas 100% perfecting what they've been doing so far and kind of making it out. I know that they're doing well in MDL,
Mhm.
and I know that that is also online, and I penalized United just moments ago for the same thing, so I'll be fair and continue it on to another team. Online isn't enough until we see it on LAN, and I'm not a believer.
To another point in that column is I know certainly for Grim and Infinite, this is going to be the biggest event they've ever played in any context. I mean,
Yes.
biggest LAN in any context. Infinite, his previous LAN experiences, Chicago, Mad City,
Yep.
and like Philadelphia, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So for him, it's going to be a huge jump. For Grim, same thing. You know, local lands, Chicago lands, Mad City lands, Philadelphia's, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It'll be a quantum leap. Mitch played big lands he played with Splice for a long time.
But have they played big lands?
Well,
the
once upon a
biggest
time.
LAN I see here is Philadelphia 11-10 for Mitch, on which he won them both. Good for him. And then a WESG 2016 towards that, and that's when he played for. I don't think he was with Splice at the time.
So he's got more.
He was with
LAN experience.
Selfless, I think.
He's got more LAN experience than the other two, but still not anything on the scale of a minor.
Yeah, this is easily the biggest event next to E-League. He was actually in E-League Season 1 when they were doing that whole television thing. So that's pretty big too. That's pretty big. The guy was on TV.
The first season was $1 million.
Yeah.
It was one of the first $1 million tournaments. Yeah, no, that one counts. That one counts. So
Okay,
I'll say that
we'll give you that.
Infinite and Grim are super inexperienced in terms of land, so it'll be a quantum leap forward for them. So you're right; it will be very impressive if they perform, and it is very reasonable to express trepidation on that.
And it's also in London, so it's not actually taking place in America. It is a LAN in London for 50 Gs and challenger status. Stacks on stacks with those 50 Gs.
It's always interesting at these tournaments because on the one hand, yeah, the money's really nice. It's nice to make $50,000. On the other hand, who cares? It's all about the challenger status. Like, that's the only thing that matters.
Yeah, the only thing that matters is sticker money. That's it.
Money.
Like, yeah.
That paper that no one actually knows what it is.
Yeah. So, obviously, your pick, NRG and Complexity, are those kind of your...
Those are my most likely. My heart is NRG and E United. My brain is NRG and Complexity.
Okay. So I'm going to stick with the NRG as well. I think that's probably I just think that's such a guarantee. It's not even funny. Mm-hmm. And I love E United as well. Obviously, I'm a big Eclipse Lunar fan from back in the day. I'm going to go with Rogue here though, just to stray off the beaten path, because I've loved Vice and I've loved Sick for a very long time, like dating back as far as I can remember in terms of watching competitive CS:GO. They got Rick A, who's a really good opera right now. They brought in MCE, so they got the brains. And Cadian was just popping off today already, 25-4. I will remind you, the guy he's doing okay. So I'm hoping that they will kind of be my dark horse team, and I will go with NRG and Rogue. But also, I do agree, Complexity is probably the most likely to do it.
It'd be kind of cool to see Complexity come back to form, just as an org. The history on that org. The investment that's on them now. It would be really nice for Complexity to be, and this is going to be kind of a weird way to take this, but they're making a big investment now in their Counter-Strike team after not for a long time.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to see that pay off for them.
Yeah, considering they invested in like fraud back when they made their comeback, and that we all saw how that turned out. Yeah.
But like, I mean, they're now the Cowboys, which is crazy. They're like partially owned by the Dallas Cowboys, which is crazy. Oh yeah. They like practice and tour the Cowboy Stadium. Like it's crazy.
That's awesome.
That's interesting. Rogue is Rogue the one that's partially owned by Steve Aoki, or is that Ghost?
It might be actually.
one of them is partially owned by Steve Aoki. So we'll see if Steve Aoki's. I mean, if it's Ghost, tough break, Steve. But if it's Rogue,
Hey, at least he's got more time to spend in the studio then. instead of going to watch that.
Yeah. I don't know if you think he'd show up to watch if his team made the major.
I think so. Why not? You put in the money. Why not see how it turns out?
Enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the main reason I'm sad that Echo Fox isn't a Counter-Strike org anymore, is because I want to see Rick Fox getting hype at events.
Yes, Rick Fox is awesome. Rick Fox is a big reason why esports is kind of like on the map for like middle-aged people.
And NBA in particular.
Yeah, for sure. That has helped out a ton. All right, so I think we've talked the listeners' ears off about the minor. Any closing thoughts on that?
The minor tings.
Yeah, the minor tings.
These were just some minor tings to talk about. We had to discuss. Closing thoughts about that. It's really exciting to see a huge churn in the minor circuit. A lot of new players, a lot of new faces, a lot of minor rookies. That's the storyline that I'm going to be following, that I'm going to be excited about. Which is just the fact that I feel like NACS has been due for a churning for a long time. And I think that this is a good mark of that happening.
All right. I like that.
That's my takeaway.
All right. That's what I like to see. So mark your calendar. July 7th is when they kick off the America's Minor in London, England, United Kingdom, however that goes. All right.
Make yourself a cup of tea, sing, praise the Queen, and get ready for it.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. So now we're moving down to the MDL. We've spoke a little bit about the MDL, but we're not going to go in depth as we typically do. But there are a few organization changes going on. So Normal People in Ruston has become Furio Pro, or Virio Pro. Virio. Okay.
I'm going with Virio. That's what I'm going with. I haven't heard it said yet, so I'm just guessing.
You know what? We're gonna stick with that forever until they prove us wrong. Until they
Viral Pro.
Yeah. Sounds awfully close to Virtus Pro. I don't know if there's any sort of little bit of copying going on or whatever, but I think they were very smart to invest in the team that they did, considering they are still at the top. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So a very smart investment by them. I hope they stick around. That's always the question in MDL. When an org sponsors a team, are you actually going to, one, pay your players? Are you, two, going to stick around for more than half a season?
Yeah. I don't think they've ever sponsored a CS team either, so they're super new to it.
Yeah. So we'll see how they handle doing that. I don't know if they have a website. They've only linked their Twitter in terms of like their
I'm creeping their Twitter
website.
Right,
they're creeping their Twitter. Okay. They got a website.
Their contact email is at, oh no, they do have a website. Furio Pro.
Yes.
Powerhouse Media Group Ltd. They got some vaguely, those are pretty cool jerseys. I don't hate the logo. I don't love it.
Jerseys are, they're okay. They're decent.
Actually, I just noticed, okay, so looking at the logo, okay, on stream so I can discuss this. At first glance, I thought it was like a bird with a really big tail, almost like a dress type of thing, and then one wing coming off the side. Now I realize it's two wings, and the one wing is supposed to be closer to you. It's a really weird foreshortening that they've done on the logo, but I don't hate it, so I'll give them a pass on it for now.
You make the mistake of like not recognizing it,
well,
and then you're gonna call them out like that.
No, because a logo has to be instantly recognizable. Like that's the whole thing with logoing. You need to have it be complicated enough to be interesting, but simple enough that at a glance it's instantly recognizable. And if my first recognition of that is what the hell's going on with that bird is wearing a dress, that's bad logoing. Just saying. All right. Just saying. This is an art critique now, boys.
Yeah, very true. Well, I think we got to put ourselves in the creative column now for Twitch.
There we go.
But this is their step into the FPS genre. Their only other team is Rivals into Aether. I don't even know what the hell that is. Is that some sort of mobile MOBA?
I don't know.
I have no idea. But hey, our focus is Counter-Strike. We don't know what that is. So welcome Virio Pro to the FPS genre.
FGC.
We just hope you are here to stay. I hope. Especially for the sake of the players. Players don't deserve all the ridiculous antics that the orgs pull on these people.
Apparently, Rivals of Aether is an FGC game, but I've never heard of it. So,
Oh, okay. Well, neither have I, but
yeah. Speaking
whatever.
of the antics and the fact that they don't deserve it, they've already lost with Born. I don't know quite
Yeah.
what happened there, but Born dropped off the face, and I think only took them a week to secure Virio Pro. So hopefully that's
Well, I
a good
mean,
decision.
yeah, when you're at the top, I imagine you have a few offers coming through. I just hope they pick the right one and one that will
Yeah.
actually kind of stick with them and give them the support.
The
We also,
question- Oh no, I was going to say the question is if they already lost, that they got unlucky with decisions, maybe need to think a little harder about the orgs they're signing with. We'll find
very
out.
true. Maybe so you're victim blaming now. Okay.
I'm victim shaming.
All right, dude. I see you. So we got another org coming into the fray. A new fighter is approaching. Has approached. F1 Race Car Peak becomes Vision Gaming. They are also another org that I'm fairly sure has one other esports team. I don't know if it's a big.
I think it's mobile.
I think it is too. I think it's Vainglory from what I remember.
They got a PUBG team because who doesn't? A Vainglory team and something called
a Critical Ops, which I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that's a mobile game as well, but it's like a Counter-Strike kind of mobile game.
Although maybe they don't actually have a PUBG team and a Cops team. Cops.
Yeah, you get
short sweaty playing it.
Yeah.
Because they've got people listed under Vainglory. They've got 6 players listed. They don't have anyone listed for PUBG or Cops.
Yeah. All right. So
we'll see.
So maybe they're looking. If you are a Cops player or a PUBG player, you just send an email to Vision Gaming. I'm sure they'll just pick you up.
So this actually leads kind of into the controversy signing, if you can call it that. The disagreement that there was about the signing, which is apparently this roster was in talks with Blackout, the org Blackout, who had previously had Caboose, who's a player on F1 Race Car Peak, Vision, whatever they're called now, on the Blackout roster, was apparently talking to them about bringing them back under the Blackout brand, and they backed out very late in the talk. If you believe the Blackout side of things, there was a verbal commit. There were no contracts signed, though, but there was a verbal commit, apparently, and there was a better offer came through from Vision. So if Vision stick around, great decision, but we'll see. Blackout at least has a track record.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like the players are kind of going with like maybe the safer bet, depending on like what happened with Blackout, considering like maybe there's some sort of controversy behind the scenes that Caboose was kind of weary of. Because if it was such a set in stone thing, there might not have been something to tip them off. But with Vision, maybe Caboose is just like, oh, there's a better offer here. Let's go this way. I don't know. Yeah. All speculation, just conjecture.
It was interesting to me that the management / business side of Blackout chose to air their dirty laundry as well. In some ways, I don't know. I mean, clearly they were it was a bit of like trying to shame the F1 Race Car Peak roster. But on the other hand, it kind of makes you look really bad as an org if you basically have a contract signed with a team and they we're going to go for these guys who've got some mobile. Like, it's not a good look.
Yeah. Yeah, never. As an org, I feel like just like trying to like make players look bad. Like, I understand it, like from a morality point of view, like the owners probably like, this was kind of messed up. Like, this is the kind of people that they are. But then like when you do that, you're an organization that is also trying to get players. So, I mean, players might not want to join an organization that does that sort of thing. So
it's all about optics at the end of the day. Everything's about optics. And if you're making yourself look as good as possible, great. If you get made a fool, I mean, even if like you're pissed that you were made a fool, airing that, I just don't see a lot of positives. Right? Like maybe it feels good in the moment. I don't see a lot of positives from the org side for putting that dirty laundry out there. I don't know. Yeah.
Can someone enlighten me on what this discussion about which game I just joined and am fully lost? We are talking about Counter-Strike, Nurse Soraka.
I know it says Overwatch competitive, but that's just because our producer doesn't have the power to change that yet.
Yeah,
So get
we're
on that quick.
sorry. We're sorry if you're a big Overwatch fan. We're not talking about Overwatch.
So how about that Zarya buff?
Yeah. I'm still waiting on a Zenyatta nerf. He's way too powerful, okay? Just way too much damage, way too much healing. Nerf it.
Too mobile. All right. On to the next topic.
Yes.
Which is, this was a really exciting celebration to watch. This was last weekend.
Yes.
Was the MIBR, the MIBR. Am I allowed to call it MIBR? Or is it MIBR?
I think you should say MIBR or Made in Brazil. There's no MIBR. None of that. That's pure disrespect
to
the legacy that is Made in Brazil. This is a team
fun,
that's been around since the dawn of time. We're talking 2006 playing Source.
Their first Counter-Strike team was made up of
1.6.
dinosaurs and cavemen.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if we should call Brazilians cavemen. I think we might have another.
Dude.
I think we might have another situation.
Oh man,
we're
on fire today.
Okay, no, that was your fault this time.
I was doing an age joke. It was an age joke. All right.
No, this is all your fault.
We're getting off of that before it goes worse. So it's really cool to see an old brand back. 1.6 brand, a legendary 1.6 brand. I mean, I've been doing some reading about this because obviously, A, I wasn't paying attention to Counter-Strike in any capacity back then, and B, I'm not Brazilian or immersed in the Brazilian scene in the way, but it's a brand that has a lot of significance for a lot of people in the Counter-Strike scene in Brazil. It was the premier brand for years. Yeah. And so to see that come back is really exciting. And it was sort of, I want to say, rescued as a brand. The guy who had it had at one point had one really mediocre name and just kind of wasn't doing anything with it.
Yeah.
And then Noah Winston came in, Immortals came in. They had torched their own reputation in Counter-Strike, so they looked to buy someone else's reputation. And they sort of
very true
scooped it, which is fine. You got to pay for some PR sometimes.
Yeah, every once in a while, just do a little bit of scooping.
I think it's really smart from their perspective too, because I think Brazil is one of the most exciting esports markets, just in terms of how passionate they are, particularly about Counter-Strike.
How passionate and how deep their pool of players is. Once again, now we're seeing Furia come up, and we saw them kind of beat EA Gaming, and now, Furia is going to come up to America, so now EA is they're now the 6th best team in Brazil, so now they're just going to be on the come up, and then they're going to come up to America. Their talent pool is so deep, and rich and full of good, really talented players. So it doesn't surprise me that Immortals is let's kind of capitalize on that that brand, Brazil as its own brand.
The other exciting aspect of it too, and this is where I think it's a really smart move, based on my brushes with Brazilian Counter-Strike fans and interactions with them, they are on the whole very dedicated to the game and also very willing to spend on the game in terms of apparel, gear, tickets to see their team, tickets to go to things, traveling, that kind of thing. It is a very serious thing, and it's a thing that's worth investing capital, whereas a lot of esports teams struggle to convert fan base into monetary gain. I think that it's a smart move from Immortals, made in Brazil, to tap into a crowd that is very much willing to spend to support their team.
Very true. And not only that, but we got Tinder coming in to support Made in Brazil.
Wild?
Okay. I think this genuinely, I mean this wholeheartedly, not even a meme. This is the literal best sponsorship opportunity I've ever seen in my entire life. Tinder is genius for joining in on this. Noah Winston is even more genius for recognizing that he can get them, because Tinder is making stupid amounts of money off people buying their Tinder Plus or Tinder Gold or Tinder Platinum, whatever they're calling it now. So you get all of these, and I even put in our little document here, capitalizing on lonely gamers. This is my favorite thing that I've ever seen in gaming history. Them putting in their name into the fold. Everybody's going to see Made in Brazil now. All the old fans, all the new fans are going to see it. They're going to be like, whoa, a Tinder sponsorship. I'm going to get my phone out and just start swiping right. Oh, I lost all my swipes? Tinder Gold. Swipe right more and more and more. This is the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
The other exciting thing, so on the other hand of the lonely gamers, apparently gamers are now sexy enough that you can advertise on Tinder with them. Because that's the thing. They're using Cold in ads on Tinder. And like,
No.
yeah, Cold looks good these days. Man's dropped a lot of weight. He's got like that. He's a attractive gamer right there. So they're using Counter-Strike players in Brazil. This is pretty much exclusively in Brazil, I think, where Counter-Strike is like can be sexy.
Yeah.
To advertise Tinder, which is great. We have come so far.
They made the right call.
Yeah.
I love it. It was genius.
It's the Immortals have been doing some really out of the box thinking with sponsors as well. Other important sponsor, Otter Pops.
Yes, gotta love
Very
Otter
crucial.
Pop. That is genius.
Gotta love them. Big moves.
I support
big
that.
money moves.
Money moves.
They're going full Cardi B, making money moves.
Okay. All right.
My other question: how long does Stewie have to be on this team now before he does the full adoption conversion, gets his passport, and becomes full Brazilian?
I mean,
a year?
I hope it doesn't happen at all. I don't like Stewie being on SK.
I didn't agree.
I didn't like the move when it happened, and after all the results that have happened, I definitely don't like it. I think he kind of like threw away his prime a little bit to play on a team that doesn't fit with him. Like, there's a reason why it was all Brazilians all the time for a long time. Like, even when there were insanely good American players, they were like, we're just going to keep Brazilians because we're at the top and we're really good. Like, there was no reason for them to drop Taco and try other players. They were literally at the top for years, like 2 straight years.
They'd had a slump. I can understand why the thoughts were there. I agree with you that I think, or at least as current results have shown, I didn't like the move. I didn't like the move at the time. I thought the thing about SK is so much of what they do well is about team play and activating the various players. And we'll see if they get to the point where they feel comfortable enough with Stewie and with the weird bilingual spew they're having in their comms to actually reattain that level of team play. But it's definitely not there right now. It definitely hasn't been there yet.
Yeah. It's unfortunate to see. So I honestly, like, I hope he doesn't make that full, like, Brazilian adoption kind of move. Mm-hmm. I can't see it happening if they continue this journey that they're on with keeping Stewie, but my personal hopes is that they don't.
On the plus side, though, now when SK goes deep at a tournament, I can wear an American flag and cheer. It's like the one drop rule. It's the one drop rule. If you have one American on your team, we claim you. You're ours. For example, Renegades. They're ours now. Which actually segues into another topic.
I think we might disagree on that one. But anyways, the next topic. Ryu is coming back.
Ryu's coming back. Ryu's back to coaching. Ryu is coaching for Renegades on a trial basis. He's been doing some things with them. He was an analyst, a secret analyst, or just an analyst who they didn't name for like 6 months with Kassad.
Yeah, I guess.
And then Kassad left, which is a bummer, and I still don't really understand that because Kassad was doing great things with that roster. And now Ryu's back. Ryu,
I like
the selfless man.
Exactly. Ryu is a great man. Kind of lost his org, and now he's just kind of joining up with a new one, which I like to see. I hope he can really help them like take it to the next level because they were doing well for a while.
They were so good,
and I just hope that like he can just bring it back and beyond.
All I'm saying is now there's only one more Australian on that team than there are Americans. They have 3 Aussies, a Norwegian, Nifty, and Ryu. We're taking over.
But do coaches really count?
They're a Detroit-based team, man. They're based in Detroit. How much? No one even wants Detroit. How much more American can you get?
You're so American that you have to take Detroit to claim your Americanness.
Yeah, Steel City, man.
I don't know if we're on the same wavelength of agreeing that they are an American team.
We're eminent domaining them, bringing them into the fold.
But you know what?
No,
I'm Canadian. Who am I to say? Who am I?
They're
I'm
definitely
irrelevant.
still Aussie. They're still Aussie. They're the boys. Yeah, the boys. All I'm saying is it's leaking. It's leaking in. A little Americanness. There's soon, like, you're gonna see Azar on stage. He's gonna open his mouth and a bald eagle's gonna come. All I'm saying, you gotta watch out.
Okay. So there's more American talk. So we've talked about it briefly a little bit so far. We're coming into the close of the show, so we'll move into the last topic of the day. We've talked about it a little bit. Furia moving to Miami. Now in the Dust 2 article, they were moving to California actually on June 25th, which happens to be today.
Mm-hmm.
So they're coming here. They're coming for the Zotac Cup Masters America's regionals, and that'll send one team to Hong Kong. So maybe they will be the team to do it. But that event is taking place on June 30th. So they are here. We have another Brazilian team in America. They just keep coming.
This is the new version of the American dream, man. We won't let immigrants in for other things. So now we're focusing all of our immigration visas on esports. That's the only reason you can get into the country.
True. So
Donald Trump's very strange America.
Yeah, if you think you're on the verge of being deported, just become a pro at esports and then you're good. Like, you'll be safe.
That's the move. Either that or flee up to Canada and hang out with.
Exactly. I don't have very much room in my home, but you can come here and stay with me in Canada and good old Canada land. There's a little room over here. I can move this big thing that I got. You can stay here. But you have to devote your entire life to esports and you can't do anything else.
It is exciting, though. It is exciting to see more and more teams come out of regions that have really fought and scrabbled to have what they have in esports. You know, there are so many disadvantages in Brazil and and just how big the country is. I mean, admittedly, the US is huge as well, but just infrastructure, internet access, consistent computer access, and like this sort of nascent scene that has existed for a long time, but has really had a lot of support from the current pro players who give back and feed into it. Mm-hmm. And you know, the Trailblazers was the Luminosity, who became SK, who are now made in Brazil. And then you had Immortals, who are now, or no, they were Tempo Storm, Immortals, now NTC, soon to be SK. Were the second followers. Then you got Team One. You had Gorilla Core for a little while. That didn't work so well.
Oof.
Everyone's got to have some mistakes. You have the current Luminosity roster, but it's really exciting to see these teams come to the US and really pursue their dream. And the other one you have is, of course, Bravado. Who, completely different region, but very much the same trajectory. And it's just really exciting to see these teams take hold of the opportunity and seize their dream and really try and make an impact.
Yeah, and kind of like the catalyst for all of that was Fallen. Mm-hmm. Like, kind of like going along with like the first iteration of Luminosity, and kind of before that, like, he had his own kind of like teachings, I guess. Like, he had his own kind of like following of people that he would bring up through the scene, and that's kind of how like Cold was recognized. Like, before Cold was in the roster, it was ZQKS, and then he got booted, and then they brought in Cold, and then the rest is history, obviously. But it was kind of like Fallen is kind of the reason why Brazil is like on the map and on the trajectory that it is.
That dude is going to be revered whenever he retires. He's going to never have to buy a beer again.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start up like a Counter-Strike Hall of Fame.
Build him a statue.
He deserves a statue. Right in the heart of Brazil, right beside that big like T-pose Jesus. You can put Fallen right beside him.
Is he also doing the pose? Is he also getting crucified?
No. He's got an op in his hand, and he's like this.
He's full opping. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. And he's wearing sunglasses, bad Fallen style, right?
Exactly. Here's what we can do. The Jesus is T-posed. On one hand, he's got good Fallen with the op, and on the other one, he's got bad Fallen, and he's got like a deagle.
I love it.
So you get two statues for Fallen.
I dig it. He deserves it. He
does deserve it.
So, I mean, it is really exciting. It's the other So the other thing, bringing it back to selfish Americanness, the other thing that I love about teams coming to the U.S., and it's a double-edged sword. On the one hand, they're competing for spots that American teams are competing for, so it makes it a lot harder for American teams to get to bigger events.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it ups the level of competition enormously, because one thing that's always been a problem in the NA scene is commitment and dedication. And if you have these hungry South American teams or these hungry South African teams, always a South in the name somehow.
Yeah.
You have these hungry teams who are really dedicated to Counter-Strike and really dedicated to achieving and making these tournaments, playing in every qualifier. It forces you to up your game if you want to be competitive.
Yeah. Like you want to be a pro, like you don't just beat a bunch of main players. Like you don't just sit in ESEA main, slap them for a little bit and then, oh, I'm pro. Like you got to like go up against people who are like dedicating their lives. Like this is now the 5th team that is moving to America to follow their dream. And they're not going to follow their dream lightly. Like they're going to come here and they're going to try their ass off 110% every single map because they're not going to waste their time.
We also had like the Miami Flamingos, and we've seen it a few different times, and it really is. It's interesting because on the one hand, yes, it's super exciting. On the other hand, if Furia has success, and at that point we have 5 Brazilian teams having various levels of success in North America, at a certain point, shouldn't we just start developing leagues in Brazil?
I'm pretty sure there is a Brazil Open ESEA division. Honestly, it might get to the point we have a Brazil-only American server. Like all the Brazilians that are moving up, we're just going to put you in one division. I think there might be a little bit of ethical dilemma with that.
Yeah,
and I realized that as I was saying it.
Yeah.
And I got a bad track record with Brazilians on the show today.
You're just on fire.
I don't mean to, Brazil. I'm sorry.
We promise. It's unintentional. He's just putting his foot in his mouth.
Yes, exactly. I love the Brazil scene. I think it's fantastic. There's a reason why I know there's a deep pool. It's because I watch you guys all the time.
I'm pretty sure Brazilian CSGO fans are like 95% of the people who have ever donated to my stream. So shout outs to Brazil.
Yes. Shout out to all those money givers. AKA donators. Yeah. All the same word. Synonyms.
Same thing.
But I think that's all we have for the show today.
I think that's about our time.
Yes.
We're going to draw this to a close.
Yes. Draw the line in the sand. No more Brazilian quote unquote harassment, unintentional harassment for the day. I think we'll table that and never return to it again.
Never again.
Next week, only compliments for the Brazil region.
I mean, we were pretty complimentary. You just chose some very poor words to compliment them with.
Yeah.
Exciting times for Brazilian CS. One of the legendary brands is back. A completely new team is moving to North Claim to stake their claim. You got 2 teams making it to the minors. You were very close to having more than that. I mean, it's an exciting time for Brazilian CS, and I don't expect them to go away anytime soon. So
very true. Props
to the Brazilians. It's an exciting time for American CS. We're just gonna do like a recap, tie it all back together.
Yeah,
young players on the up and up, coming up, making it up. We're exporting coaches to Australia now, apparently.
But they're based in Detroit.
Detroit, Australia, same thing.
Who knows at this point? Who knows?
I'm sure they have post-industrial towns in Australia too.
Yeah, for sure.
So big moves going on, big money moves, and that's another week here in the drop room.
Yes. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week on the 2nd of July.
And some plugs for this week. I know I plugged it last week that we were having an Bravado Sonic. He postponed, so theoretically that interview is happening this week at Thursday at 8 p.m. Last week I had an interview with Joe Tolkien Fanatic Cardali. This guy's EDAD. I'm just gonna keep pushing that until you both accept it.
Yeah, my e-father.
And you can catch that on our YouTube somewhere. If you want to check the VODs of these videos or of any of the interviews that have happened or various event videos, you should check out Nerd Street Gamers on YouTube. And you should give this channel a follow because we will be back with more action next week. This time, this place.
Or subscribe. Do that too.
Subscribe. Hey.
Yeah, why not?
Follow us on Twitter. My Twitter is @DarfMike, and this is what's your Twitter? @BaltyBaby?
@BaltyBaby.
@BaltyBaby. Hit him up with the follow. producer spammer leaks in chat if you're allowed to. Oh, he doesn't have mod. He's gonna get banned if he spams links. Never mind. That'd be hilarious if our own
Our
producer.
producer doesn't have mod. Okay, makes sense. All right. I think we've
yeah.
said goodbye about 50 times now. So 51. Here we go. Goodbye.
That's all, folks.